From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
Cascade Paint and Supply is Reading's oldest family-owned paint store, established in 1953. We are the largest Dunn Edwards dealer in the nation, and most of our products are made in the U.S. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff are ready to answer your questions and help you today.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Meteorologist Mike Krueger, and we're going to take a quick look, just kind of checking in for your afternoon update. We'll have a much more detailed forecast coming up this evening at 6 o'clock. In the meantime, we're going to talk about the potential for mountain thunderstorms, even the valley, quite possibly getting in on some of that action as early as this evening and tonight. Cooling trend, by the way, after another hot day today, especially in the valley and even some of the higher elevations. Now, even though the potential for thunderstorms will diminish later this week, we could be looking at the potential for more mountain thunderstorms, unfortunately, by the time we get towards the end of this upcoming weekend and early next week. So here's your neighborhood forecast at a quick glance. There you can see mostly the mountains seeing the thunderstorms. Now the valley, you'll see no activity there today, right? But later this evening, that could be a different story, especially for the north end of the valley. A quick look at the fire weather forecast here, sponsored by Garmin's Tractor Service. We're still in that moderate to high range here for today in the valley, tomorrow, and even for your Wednesday. Despite the fact that we've got the monsoon moisture and the thunderstorms popping up, and the available moisture, it's still very dry out there. So even when we see those winds, that can really elevate that fire weather risk. The good news is, though, it looks like as those temperatures start to drop, the fire weather risk may drop later on this week. So what we're seeing here is basically that monsoon moisture in place. It's here. And we saw those thunderstorms yesterday afternoon. We'll see them again this afternoon. Taking a look at the water vapor imagery, this shows you where most of the moisture is, and you can see that moisture that was and really being squeezed out by the afternoon convection that we're seeing here. So we look at the severe outlook. This is more of what I like to call a broad brush outlook, and that is the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma is just broad brushing the whole situation. Del Norte, Humboldt counties, take that green out. I don't expect any showers or thunderstorms for you today, even in the inland areas. For the valley, take it out at places like south of Red Bluff in the valley, right? But Reading, maybe this evening. As far south as Red Bluff, very slim chance, but when we look at Futurecast, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now for Wednesday, you can see we still have that potential here. So let's take a look at Futurecast. And what we're going to be looking at here is basically the potential for more thunderstorms here as we take you through the afternoon. So we're taking a look at what's known as the HRRR forecast model. So by 3 p.m., we're seeing those thunderstorms really popping up. I think it'll be a little bit more widespread as we go through the afternoon and into this evening. There you can see Trinity County, Siskiyou, Modoc County, and the eastern mountains. Now notice the valley still not seeing much activity, but then by 8 o'clock tonight, this evening, Reading, Palisadro, Old Shasta, City of Shasta Lake, Lakehead, Anderson, maybe Cottonwood, getting in on some of that activity here. By the way, look at Bernie, getting pounded with some heavy rainfall, some gusty winds, thunderstorms. Then once we get past midnight, it'll dry out. And then we see another break tomorrow morning. But we're going to do it all over again, rinse and repeat. More thunderstorms for your Tuesday afternoon, especially in the higher elevations. But look at this. There's more of an eastward flow of this activity. So I think the best chance for thunderstorms in the valley will be tomorrow afternoon, especially for the north end of the valley. But I think Corning, Chico, Willows, Orville all have the potential in there, as well as Paradise. But you can see, of course, the mountains still seeing that thunderstorm potential. Then 6 p.m., we're still, again, you can see it even in the valley, some of that light activity continuing even into the evening and into the nighttime hours. But then by midnight, it's all pretty much done. All right, that was a look at the HRRR. I actually tend to agree with that much more than our in-house forecast model. Let's show you what it's showing today. So 3 p.m., most of the activity actually to the east based on this model. But I do think Trinity and Siskiyou and even Modoc County will see some thunderstorms. Then it becomes a little bit more widespread, a little bit more active late this afternoon, but I do think more activity for Trinity County and more activity even closer to the valley. But this model does pick up on that potential for the north end of the valley. As I mentioned, City of Shasta Lake, Reading, Cottonwood, right? Anderson, Palisadro, Old Shasta, all seeing that. And Bernie, just like the HRRR forecast model showing that in Bernie. But shortly after midnight, it's all pretty much done with. And there you can see we go into your Tuesday morning. It's a dry start. But again, that rinse and repeat, right? See how it's not as active as the HRRR forecast model, but I do think we're looking at more activity than you're seeing here. Now you can see it is picking up on at least that potential for the north end of the valley for Tuesday afternoon, but not nearly as aggressive. However, by the evening hours, the north end of the valley around Redding, Anderson, Palisadro, City of Shasta Lake, maybe Cottonwood, seeing some of that activity, and then it pretty much fizzles out. But I do think we could be looking at more potential for places like Red Bluff, Corning, Chico, Willows, and Oroville. That's certainly a possibility Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening. And then for Wednesday morning, we dry things out again. But now the model, this particular forecast model, wants to keep most of the activity to the north. And I actually tend to agree with that. Because as we go through the day on Wednesday, it looks like we may be nudging a lot of that monsoon moisture northward. And that would be drier conditions to the south. So Siskiyou, Modoc counties, I think we could see a better chance for thunderstorms Wednesday afternoon. But for Trinity County, Lassen, Plumas County, even the Valley, much slimmer chances. Now, for now, I'm going to keep the chance for thunderstorms in the forecast for pretty much everyone, including the Valley, minus the coast, minus Del Norte, minus Humboldt counties, through Wednesday. And then everyone will be dry by Thursday. All right, so here's what it looks like for the rest of the day today. By the way, it's still going to be hot out there. Temperatures over 100 degrees in the Valley. There's that potential for thunderstorms in the mountains this afternoon. This evening and tonight, parts of the Valley, especially around Redding, the Redding area and the surrounding areas around Redding could see thunderstorms as well. And that's what we have here for tonight. Could be as far south as Red Bluff, slimmer chances south of that though, and otherwise in the higher elevations tonight. Temperatures still mild in the low 70s for the Valley, 50s and 60s for the higher elevations. So here's your 7-day outlook for the Valley. Redding, Red Bluff, maybe some evening and showers tonight. Especially Redding, slimmer chances for Red Bluff. Chico, I've taken your chance out altogether. Tuesday is the best chance overall for the Valley to see thunderstorms, especially northward. Heading south, those chances slim down a bit. I'm keeping the chance in there for Wednesday, but I may be taking that out here in your evening forecast. And then Thursday through the weekend, you're dry. And by the way, it's cooler. We're seeing those temperatures drop. Dry for the coast, mid-60s, give or take. Hazy, by the way, a little smoky out towards the inland areas, but dry. No rain, no thunderstorms. It's Trinity County today and tomorrow, in particular. I may be taking that chance out for Wednesday this evening as well. So just note that it's today, tomorrow that I'm now seeing the best potential for those thunderstorms in Trinity County. For Siskiyou County, Modoc County, I think all the way through Wednesday is your chance, and then a break before maybe another chance coming in on Sunday. Now for Susanville, for Lassen, Plumas counties, Eastern Mountains in general, at this point, I may be taking out the thunderstorms on Wednesday as well, but maybe a chance coming in to your Sunday with those temperatures somewhere around the upper 80s to low 90s. All right, that's your afternoon update. I'll have a more detailed look at the latest look at your forecast model data coming up at 6 o'clock this evening. Until then, have a great rest of your afternoon.
Construction season is well underway in the Northstate, and we'd like to remind drivers to slow down around work zones. Keep Caltrans workers safe when they're on the job, and remember to be work zone alert when you see the color orange. Remember to pay attention to signs, merge early, avoid distractions, and don't speed. This message is brought to you by Caltrans District 2.